just do a quick update and let you guys know what we're doing in the Canira studio. A lot of things are changing rapidly, and it's a good thing. Change is good. So I just was on Facebook. I had to make some adjustments. Wanted to make sure that we can broadcast live on Facebook. You know, one thing about Facebook, in order to broadcast live in the studio, you have to make sure that you're set to public. Especially when you're on inside of Canira. But not only are we broadcasting live on Facebook, we're also broadcasting live on YouTube, all at the same time. Hear music in the background, that's all coming from the Canira studio. Turn down a little bit so we're not getting overwhelmed by the sound of the smooth sounds of Running with No Rest. One of my AI artists, we haven't released this one yet, but it's coming to the marketplace. You know, right now, folks, a lot is happening on the world of artificial intelligence, and every day we're hearing something new. There's a war that's happening. You know, a lot of people are dealing with a lot of stress, and you know, it's a lot of uncertainty in the atmosphere, and many people are dealing with change. And change, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to come from either one or two sources. One out of inspiration, and the other is desperation. So since change is going to happen either way it goes, we might as well prepare for it the best that we can, and not get too overwhelmed by the things that are happening that we have absolutely no control of. The things that we do have control of, well, we can make our own decisions based off of the level of control that we have. But I want to encourage you not to allow the stress to overwhelm you, okay? Not allow the stress to overwhelm you. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, pray, all right? Prayer is really the magic key. Well, it's not magic, but it is definitely a wonderful resource that we all have access to. And you know, God is not an author of confusion, and there is a level of peace that comes with your spirituality, knowing Jesus, who is the author and finisher of my faith, and who I call upon when there are times of stress that may seem overwhelming. So I would love to send that out to you. If you are someone who is in need of prayer, go ahead and put it in the comment, and I'll make sure that my prayer time that I add you into the prayer. Okay. I want to let you guys know that this is a time and a season that many of us can really take full advantage of. And what we're focusing on is going to determine on the level of growth that you'll experience during this season. You know, all seeds that are planted know that they're buried until they start to grow. Because the reality of it is, if you bury something, a seed up under the ground, it is growing in two different directions. The first direction is down. And growing down, you don't necessarily see what's happening, but it's something that's definitely happening. And the roots are being developed, and they're going through a whole process to be strong. So when it does start to grow up and break ground, it can withstand the storms that will eventually come, and the seed has to be able to survive that. The only way it can is that the roots are deep. So in this season, if you are dealing with things, just know that you're getting rooted. And as the roots continue to get stronger, you will be able to see that you will have more strength to overcome whatever obstacle that's coming or that you're currently in. You know, Jim Rohn, and may he rest in peace, he had a saying. He says, the storms of life blows on us all. The difference in us getting to our destination is not the blowing of the wind, but the setting of the sail, because we have the ability to adjust the sail when the wind is blowing, and that will push us towards our destination. So let's make that adjustment and let's get back in line. Let's not worry about what we should have, could have, or would have done, but didn't. Let's just focus on what we can do today. Let's start anew. Is that okay? Because listen, neglect, it's so subtle, but over time it compounds. And you may be thinking, well, it's too late. It's never too late. You might be asking yourself, why should I start? Because it's time to start. You may say, I quit. Well, if you quit, then you'll never know what you've been, what you could have been, and what you could have accomplished. But if you keep going, then you'll realize that eventually you'll get to where you need to go. And trust me, distractions are here. They're not going anywhere. And a lot of times we're bombarded with shiny objects, and we are bombarded with multitasking, thinking that more is better, only to realize that more means more energy being diluted, causing us to lose momentum, and finding out later that that more actually caused us not to be as far as we should have been. But the only way that you know how to stand is if you're out there doing something. And if you're not doing anything, it's very dangerous. Doing nothing is dangerous, okay? So we're going to encourage you not to stand and to move and to keep your body moving and get out there and let's do something. And those of you who are in sales, hey, get it done. Let me look at I'm on the phone, want to make sure my audio is solid.
Everybody say keep going.
It's happening. We got video quality. We have everything look good. So again, we are in the Canira studio, and the Canira studio is a platform that allows you to broadcast live on multiple platforms all at once. Right now, I'm broadcasting live on Facebook as well as YouTube, all in one, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Canira Studio. We're live on Facebook as well as YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you just to give you an idea of what that looks like to be live on multiple platforms. And just to know that, hey, you know what? We got this. So right now I'm going to show you what's going on in my YouTube. Here we are on YouTube, and I'm live on YouTube. And if you want to support my YouTube channel, go to YouTube and you go to Shantae Earl on YouTube. So I'm live on YouTube. Also, I'm live on Facebook, and if I open up my Facebook, there we are live again on Facebook. Alright, so this is all inside the studio, okay? We're all inside the studio. So if I want to share the studio with you so you can see what the studio looks like, you want to be part of the build session, which is going to happen tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I've got a build session, and that's going to be tomorrow at 11 a.m. You want to make sure that you register. I'm going to go ahead and put up the actual ticker and let you see the build session is going to be live. It's going to be good. We're going to have a good time. We're going to learn some things, and I hope to help you identify your voice, your story, your passion, and help you create something for the world to see. Okay, so let me go ahead and put some information on the build session so that you will know how to register. I'm gonna go ahead and put that now. Bear with me for one moment.
I don't know when I forgot myself, but I've been chasing everything else.
You guys enjoying that running with no rest? All right, all right, all right. So I went ahead and we put that down at the bottom. It is scrolling, and that is the build session. Make sure that you guys register for the build session so you guys can take full advantage of the free workshops that I'm consistently doing. It's happening every Wednesday at 11 a.m. I'm trying to identify the right time to do the build sessions. This thing about social media, you just not quite always sure how these algorithms are going to operate. There may be some things that you see that I post, and other times you may not get any of the things that I post. So I'm working on being extremely consistent, and I built a platform that can allow us to be more consistent in regards to sharing content. And the ultimate goal is to be able to build something once and to allow it to serve continuously. And what do I mean by that? Well, many of us, we have a ritual to where we're constantly posting every single day, or we're doing events or workshops, and this is a consistent daily or weekly process. And it feels at times that we're on a treadmill. I mean, it just doesn't seem to ever stop. And we become tired, and eventually we may quit, or we may take a hiatus, and we may not ever get back to the consistency that we once had. Or we may have a social media manager that handles all of that for us, and the cost of managing can be expensive at times, especially if your business is struggling to generate cash flow. So there are solutions out there that I was been able to research and find, and I realized that all of them had something good, but none of them had it all in one. And I decided if it was going to be, it was going to be up to me. So over the last 8 months, I decided to build it. And what I did is I created a platform and infrastructure, individuals, content creators, pastors, teachers, consultants, people who are thought leaders who have a message and a voice, who like to go further with that. And it's called Canira. Canira stands for constant and never-ending improvement and rise above. CANIRA. And it's all about building once and serving continuously. And it's a real simple, very simple platform to navigate in order to be able to get your message out and to let it serve on a continuous basis. And the first steps are the build once, and that is to set an anchor. Your anchor is the foundation. That's where everything starts. That's your intention, reasons why you decided to start a company or to get involved or to do anything. So the beauty is, once that anchor is set, that is going to be the foundation and the seed that has been planted in the ground, and everything is going to be built from that foundation anchor. And everything is like your registration page, your landing page, your email sequences, your social posts. Everything is really built from that. And once that anchor is set, the next phase is the air. And that's where you're going to get into the Canira studio, and you're going to give a presentation or your event. And it's going to be one with an intention of knowing that you're going to repurpose it and create assets that will be able to serve on a continuous basis. Now, some of us are scared of the camera, and I don't blame you. Being in front of the camera can be quite intimidating, especially if you're not used to it and you haven't had a lot of practice. But the best way to improve is through practice. Practice makes perfect. No, practice makes improvement. And over the decades, you never really truly become perfect. There are times where you're going to do better than others. And if you're always constantly trying to have perfection, then many times you won't act. And we don't start when we don't make a commitment to act and to take action when everything is perfect. We take action when we make a commitment. So I want to encourage you to make a commitment to getting your message out there to the world. So if you have a book inside of you, I want to encourage you to write it. Go ahead and start the process. If you have a course that you'd like to build, I want to encourage you to start creating that course. If you have a message that you would like to bring to the world, I want to encourage you to bring it. Time waits for no one. And if you continue to wait, time will lapse, and eventually you may pass that opportunity and may never do what it is you said you wanted to do. And it's a lot of pain in regret, okay? And those are the two biggest pain that many people deal with. It's either pain of discipline, which means that you will do what you said and you will discipline yourself to do it, or it's going to be pain of regret. And pain of regret weighs tons. And many folks are living in that pain of regret. But right now, as long as you are breathing and you have air in your body and you have the ability to do, I'm going to encourage you to do. Okay, so that's the big aha moment for you today. Aha, you still have a time and an opportunity to get things done. All right, and I created a platform to help you do it. Not trying to sell you on anything. I use it and it works, and I'm excited to be able to have others use it and give me feedback and let me know how they are using it. And for those of you who are looking for an opportunity, well, have that as well. The platform has a full affiliate partnership, and for those who are founding members, founding 25, or those who would like to promote it, yes, there are opportunities to where you can now be rewarded for you sharing this platform to others. And I have a partnership program as well as a straight affiliate. Nope, this is not network marketing. This is nothing but an affiliate. If you share it, you get rewarded for that and get rewarded on a monthly basis. And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like a person should be rewarded if they are willing to do something a little extra that they don't necessarily have to. So Canira will provide an extra reward for those who are interested. All right. I know I'm doing a lot of talking. But, hey, it's Tuesday. It's lunchtime. I'm getting ready to get back out and start talking with individuals and helping businesses, helping people understand this thing called artificial intelligence. Smart AI Workshops is still live and it's still in effect. So I know you may have thought, hey, Mr. Earl has walked away from Smart AI Workshop. I have not. Smart AI Workshop is still active. I'm still going into the colleges, into the schools, and we're still teaching AI to the young people and getting them, acclimated to this new era of technology. And I want to encourage you to learn this technology. If there's anything that you should be pouring your time into, I would recommend you pour it into this thing called artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence allows a person like myself to write over 600,000 lines of code and build a platform that you're watching right now. My broadcast, this ticker at the bottom. Artificial intelligence will allow a one person to even come close to having a billion-dollar, multi-million-dollar organization. I mean, artificial intelligence is changing the way people do things, from school, from work, from business. Artificial intelligence is here. It's not going anywhere. And I want to encourage any young person, any older person, to not let it just be one of those moments to where you look back and say, I wish I had taken advantage of that in the time of the season of the actual technology evolution that was right there, but yet I let it pass. Again, pain of regret. And I know that you're smarter than that, and I know that you won't allow that to be your story. So welcome to AI evolution. Now, when I talk about AI, I usually share a few things, and I'll just do this real quick. And what I'm about to share is really all about the adoption of technology. There is something called the AI, or the technology adoption curve. On this curve, there's moves, there's pace, there's phases through this curve. And the innovators, they're the ones that create products and innovate. Then we have the early adopters. The early adopters, they're willing to test it. And you may find yourself being one of those early adopters. And then you also have, along with the early adopters, you also have the late adopters and then the laggards. And right now, I believe we're still early. Everyone is, for the most part, early. No one has mastered this thing called AI, but there are folks who are a little bit more advanced than others. And the only reason that is because they were willing to stop what they were doing and dedicate some time to reading or listening to some books and position themselves to be able to take advantage of this season in the time of the season. So this is what I want to encourage you to do as well. Take advantage of this season in the time of the season. Okay. Now, let me tell you, I was just listening to a podcaster talk about coding and how chief engineers are now writing code and being so much more productive because of the use of this thing called AI. And I went ahead and I tapped back into my 11-year-old self when I first wrote my first single line of code at the library. And I tapped into the times where I built websites and spent all night just trying to figure out how to put an image inside of our video inside of a web page, and how to actually embed the opt-in form for a funnel, and all of the years and the time that I had spent learning certain skill sets. I realized that all of that came in so handy when it really came down to challenging myself to take this thing called AI to another level. And what I mean by that is text to text, text to video. They're excellent. Text to image. These are wonderful. It's prompting, giving AI a command. You got to know what command to give it, first of all, so you're not just getting AI slop or noise. But once you know what you want, then it makes the return so much better. But what if the return that you were getting was something that you had no idea if it was right? And the reason you didn't know if it was right is because maybe you didn't really have skills to identify what is right or what is wrong. But it looks good and it sounds good, so you'll assume that it's the correct information. Well, AI is really good at doing just that, because it doesn't do everything perfect. It only learns because of the data that it learns from. And the more data that it can get, the more it's able to get the answers, or, the probability of it being correct is higher based on the data that it's been trained off of. And right now, it's, billions and trillions of data are being used to train artificial intelligence. And the models are only improving, and they're constantly being updated and released to the public. And it's pretty cool because now we have more options. But they're realizing is that the cost is also becoming very, very high in many cases because of the tokens that AI use in order to come up with the image, the video, or the text. And these tokens are called tokens, and they're, cost money to generate. And that's why we're hearing about these things called AI factories, which are data centers, and they're being built in countries and cities all over the United States as well as outside the country. factory. And let me tell you, these things are going to be quite expensive and very, very large. And I heard they're pretty noisy too, but they take a lot of energy. They take a lot of energy in order to operate, which means they're going to need electricity, they're going to need water, they're going to need all of these extra things, resources that are going to be pulling against our economy. So what's really going to happen going forward, we really just don't know. But my guess is that electricians, plumbers, tradesmen will have a much needed opportunity because of the shortage of trades, and they're going to be in high demand. So if you are a young person, or even if you're a little older, if you're thinking about restarting your career, and you may not say, hey, I don't want to get, I don't want to get into the tech side of it, but I've got some skill sets that I have, maybe I can learn. Well, I'm going to encourage you to go out and get a new trade and take the time to invest in that trade. And it's going to allow you to take advantage of these AI factories as they're constantly being built, and the need for skilled labor is going to be needed. And then those of you who are graduates, who are individuals who have went to school for 4, 6, 7 years, and you've obtained these degrees, and you realize that this is your passion and this is the direction that you were going in. Some of you may realize that, hey, you know what, you have climbed the wrong ladder. They moved the building, and the ladder is now leaning against the wrong wall. I don't want you to just be discouraged. It's okay. Life happens, technology comes in, things change, and sometimes we're forced to do something different that we didn't have planned. Well, some of you might be in that situation right now. I'm going to encourage you to maybe reevaluate what you're doing, and maybe it's time that you take that leap and grow your wings on the way down. But sometimes you may just be trying to figure it out, and you're like, it's not a good time. As well as I do, time really knows what's a good and what's a bad time, unless you're willing to take the leap. So if you do decide to take the leap, I'm gonna pray that those wings open. If it doesn't, it's okay. As long as you can survive, you get another opportunity to take another leap. In my journey, I've taken 10 plus leaps, and some of them has been quite painful. And the cost, you may be worried, I don't want to take on additional debt. I'm not ready for this extra weight, or I'm not prepared. I get it. Let me go ahead and just end this for you real quick. Everything costs. There's nothing free. And it's going to cost you for education, for knowledge, and it will cost you for the lack of knowledge as well. And sometimes the cost for not knowing, or not willing, or not developing yourself can be more expensive than the initial cost that you would have paid for taking that time and those years to develop yourself and to increase your knowledge, your specialized knowledge, or your skill set. We've all heard of the school of hard knocks. Well, yeah, it's a cost to be in that school. And many of us have experienced how the school of hard knocks will give us some knocks. These knocks that it gives us is not always the knocks that we intended to have. So we are on one today. I'm on one today. And I'm not going to keep you all day, but I'm currently streaming live, like I said, on both platforms. We're on YouTube as well as Facebook, and we are in the Canira studio. I want you to like and share this video. And I remember years back, I was at a Tony Robbins conference, and at the conference, I was just there to support one of my buddies. And we all need support, right? Nobody wants to do things alone. And it's nice to know that if someone is in our corner cheering us on, it just gives us that extra level of support that can help us, keep going when we want to stop. Well, I was that support, and during that time, Tony, he was doing fire walks. I don't know if you've ever done one, but I was there just for support. We went all day. At the end, they said, let's go outside. We're going to watch people walk on fire, and we're going to do it ourselves. And I'm saying I'm not doing that. I'm not walking over fire, because I was always taught that if you played with fire, you're going to get burned. And so I took my socks and shoes off anyway, and I walked and found myself in a crowd, about 700 people. Couldn't see what was in front of me or on the side, and all of a sudden it was my turn to actually take the fire walk. And I looked to the left, right, saw people walking and celebrate. My turn. I stepped out of line. I wasn't about to get burned. And my friend, he went ahead and he did it. And I seen him at the opposite side, and he celebrated. And as I stood there, I was thinking to myself, man, how many times have I just stepped out of line? How many times have I allowed fear to stop me? And was I going to continue to live my life in that way, to be able to see things happening and not necessarily take advantage of it because of the fear of the uncertainty of the outcome? And before I could walk away, someone tapped me on my shoulder and encouraged me to get back in line and says, you can do it, keep going, you got this. And I did. I got back in line, and then I had my turn come up again, and about to take the walk. And I thought if I was going to walk, this would be the best time. And guess what? Before I could take a step, the guy that was orchestrating, he stopped me. Said, wait. And then he made the challenge even more harder. He put a shovel in a wheelbarrow, and he heaped out some hot, fiery coals, and he placed it in front of me, and I could see the flames jumping from it. And I was like, are you serious? I'm really didn't plan this to happen. But I took the step. I went ahead and I took the first and the second, and I found myself in the middle until I realized what I just did or what I was doing. And I realized that I had already went too far to turn back, and I had to finish this. And I did. And I didn't get burned, and I celebrated, and others celebrated with me. And I realized that in life, there are times that we make decisions and we move forward. And in that decision, we come to a point in business, we call it a tipping point, where we've already invested too much time. We've already invested too much money and too many resources. And we're at a stage in our life where we have to continue, because if we quit, we will lose the momentum in everything that we've invested. And I didn't get burned, and I did learn a lesson, is that our mind is very powerful. Whatever we choose to focus on becomes stronger, and whatever we ignore dies. And even though I didn't get burned, I still had an incident while I was walking back, and I started thinking about what I did, and my feet were tingling as if they were on fire, and I knew they weren't. But that just goes to show you the power of our mind. So the reason I tell you that story is because you have a powerful mind. Your mind will play tricks on you. It will tell you that it's a war. It will tell you that everything is bad. It will tell you that there's no way that you'll ever be anything, you'll ever accomplish anything, or you don't have the ability to write code or to build your own software or to learn this new technology or to start this new business or to become that entrepreneur or to write that book or whatever the chitter chatter is. It's going to tell you it, and you may even believe it. But I'm going to give you something to encourage you And when that happens, tell it to shut up. Tell your mind to shut up. You know what I'm saying? And act like there's a big eraser in your hand and close your eyes and erase what it is that you think you're seeing. Because I'm going to tell you, it's only temporary. It is not going to continue. And eventually things will change. And eventually you'll realize that, dang, my mind was really playing tricks on me. All right. So have you ever heard that song, My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me by the My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. Got the name of that group. But anyway, we're live. I don't want to keep you all day. I hope you got some encouraging words from today. I'm going to go ahead and tap out, and I would love for you to join me tomorrow as we go through our build session, share with you how I'm doing these broadcasts, how these tickers are happening, and knowing that we're just really focused on building something once and allowing it to serve continuously. Thank you so much for watching. This is Canira. I was just venting, talking, encouraging. I don't know what I was doing. All I know is that we have a voice. There are moments that we need to use it. All right? So be blessed, folks. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now. But my soul keep losing something. I don't need more speed. I don't need more sound. I just need one moment where my mind feels fine. I'm running with no rest. I racing in my chest. I don't know